Hello and welcome to Law of the Land, a new series on Rajya Sabha TV. In this show, we take up a bill or a judgment and try and understand the fundamentals of the issue and how it impacts the common man. Today we bring to you the Whistleblowers Bill, which seeks to provide protection to anyone making a disclosure against corruption in public interest. To discuss the issue, I have with me two eminent lawyers from the Supreme Court, Mr. K.T.S. Tulsi on my left and Mr. K.K. Sood on my extreme left. Now for the headlines. The Central Vigilance Commission will get powers of a civil court under the proposed whistleblowers law. The government rejects recommendations of parliamentary panel, keeps Council of Ministers, Judiciary and Armed Forces out of the ambit of the bill. The Central Vigilance Commission to be made the nodal agency for protection of the whistleblower. The Public Interest Disclosure and Protection to Persons Making the Disclosure Bill 2010 provides the Central Vigilance Commission powers of a civil court to hand down harsh penalties to people revealing the identity of whistleblowers. The bill seeks to protect the identity of the person making a disclosure in public interest.
Indian Oil officer Shanmugam Manjunath was shot dead because he sealed 2 petrol stations for selling adulterated fuel. Forest campaigner Amit Jateva was killed for challenging illegal mining in the Gir forest in Gujarat. Satyendra Dubey was killed in 2003 for blowing the lid on rampant corruption in the Golden Quadrilateral project of the National Highways Authority. The Whistleblowers Bill has brought hope to the country's anti-corruption crusaders. According to the bill, the CVC will be the noble authority to handle complaints against the state, central government or public sector SU employees. The bill provides for prevention, victimization or disciplinary action against the whistleblowers. The bill covers central, state and public sector employees. The authorities will be expected not to put undue burden on whistleblowers to provide proof to substantiate their case. The authorities will also have to inform the complainant about the outcome of the complaint. It will also have to spell out reasons if the complaint is dismissed. The bill also provides for protection to witnesses or persons who support the whistleblowers.
Since he is the one who actually initiates the move, likely to cause a great deal of embarrassment to somebody else who may be very powerful, does need a little more protection.
The government has expressed its intentions for giving the Whistleblowers Bill passed during the winter session of the Parliament. The bill comes to the Parliament after the government accepted most of the recommendations of the Standing Committee.
And those who want to take action against them, they are not afraid of these minor penalties or something which is there. If the offence is serious enough, as we have seen them doing, they eliminate them completely. I think that this is a token sympathy to the whistleblower and nothing else.
Whistleblowers Protection Bill 2010 is one of the several bills which will be discussed in the winter session. In the bill, the government has accepted 23 of the 30 recommendations made by the Standing Committee of Law and Justice. Aruna Thakur, Rajya Sabha Television.
Straight to the question, sir. This bill provides prevention of victimization of the whistleblower. My question to you, Mr. Tulsi, is, do you think it will actually succeed in preventing victimization of the whistleblower?
No, I don't think. This is a very fragmented kind of legislation. We need to look at holistically in the issue of witness protection program. You need to protect witnesses. There are all kinds of, they're victims, if not whistleblowers. And mere whistleblower is not only kind of a witness which needs protection. So we need to be able to, across the spectrum, provide protection to the witnesses, whether they are witnesses in the corruption case or whistleblowers in corruption cases. Witnesses need to be protected and there needs to be a comprehensive law for that. And I don't think CVC is the correct authority for enforcing this law.
Mr. Sood, do you think it will be able to prevent victimization of whistleblower? Anyone who is raising a flag against corruption in the public sector or the government, do you think he will not be victimized any further after this bill becomes a law?
Well, whistleblowers' fate, what the history tells, has been that either they have been persecuted, harassed, or liquidated. The bill to me appears to be only a paper tiger, as Mr. Tulsi has put it in his words, that it is fragmented. The real issue is certainly of protection.
Sir, you said a larger witness protection program. We don't have a witness protection program. There is an attempt by the government to at least bring in some sort of a legislation to protect at least the whistleblower. Now, if victimization of the whistleblower can't happen, then how do we go about protecting him in absence of a...
You see, protection has to be extensive. It has to be able to protect the witness and his family, either the whistleblower and his family. The whole family will suffer, and you need to go whole hog in changing his identity, in changing the place of residence, giving him complete anonymity for the rest of his life, and it involves huge amount of expense.
Do you think the bill does all this?
The bill doesn't even attempt to do anything with regard to the protection of the whistleblower. It's merely stating an objective, and merely stating an objective is not enough. And you say the CVC will take the help of the CBI. What will the CBI do? Where is the budget provided for the protection? In America, for the protection of witnesses, there are billions of dollars which are provided, and they change the identity of the witness for the rest of his life. And not only one witness, but his entire family. They give him a new name, a new birth certificate, a new voter ID card, a new place of residence, new occupation, vocation. And the real identity is so completely obfuscated from the records that not even the judge will know the real identity. It's completely under the protection of the Attorney General, and the Attorney General shares it only in a sealed cover with the court.
Who will implement this whistleblower bill? First of all, that is what eventually it's going to end up among you lawyers.
The bill states that it is the CVC, and the CVC will take assistance of the CBI. But where is the budget? By what manner are they going to protect the whistleblower? Are they going to be able to physically protect? Mere physical protection may be provided even to the police officers who are on the threatened list. They are provided protection for 1 year, 2 years. Thereafter, they are again exposed to the danger.
Can we at least call it a good attempt by the government, genuinely a reasonable attempt by the government to get in some sort of a...
It's a half-hearted attempts can be more counterproductive than productive. We need to think about the protection of witnesses across the spectrum, whether they are RTI victims, because RTI are 11 people have been murdered.
12 actually.
12.
At that point, we head into a break. It's time for us to head into a break. When we come back, we will talk about the Standing Committee recommendations that were rejected by the government. Welcome back. You're watching Law of the Land on Rajya Sabha TV. The whistleblower bill has accepted majority of the recommendations made by the Standing Committee, but has kept out powerful institutions out of the ambit of the bill. Judges, ministers, defense and intelligence agencies will not be covered under this bill.
The government has refused to accept several important recommendations of the parliamentary committee. Let's take a look at some of the proposals of the parliamentary panel which the government did not accept. The committee had recommended that the armed forces, intelligence and security agencies should be under the preview of the whistleblowers bill, but the government has not accepted this recommendation. The committee had also recommended that the Council of Ministers, Judiciary, including the higher judiciary and regulatory authorities, should be covered under the bill. The government did not accept this either.
This bill, how far it is going to subserve its purpose is yet to be seen. But let's see.
In the recent years, there's been a spate of attacks on people who exposed corrupt practices, ranging from fuel adulteration to fake encounters to illegal mining in various parts of India. Such incidents brought to the fore the need for a stringent law to protect whistleblowers.
The area where probably a whistleblower will have a role to come and say that the armed forces are about to indulge in certain offences. It is not covered, and therefore anybody giving a complaint against an armed forces or one of the specialized agencies mentioned, he will not get protection.
On August 26, 2010, Public Interest Disclosure and Protection to Persons Making the Disclosure Bill was introduced in Lok Sabha. The bill was referred to the Standing Committee which came up with its report on 11th of May 2010. The report seeks to make the bill more effective by removing exemptions and incorporating more provisions to protect whistleblowers. Aruna Thakur, Rajya Sabha Television.
Straight to you, Mr. Sood. You were trying to make a point about the RTI activists who were being killed. Point that you were trying to make, please.
Well, I will say this measure being introduced at this juncture is nothing short of a populism on the part of the government to show that we have so good intentions. Otherwise, if you look to the content of it, you will feel that it's all hello.
Sir, CIC, sir, just to butt in, the CIC, the Central Information Commission, has actually gone into it and has taken some sort of a stand on it. The CIC has recently passed a resolution saying that if the assault or murder of a right to information applicant is reported, it will examine the victim's pending RTI application and direct the department to take action. Do you think this is the kind of action that now systems will have to evolve in order to protect whistleblowers?
No. You see, the matter is referred to the Law Commission, and the Law Commission is also examining a comprehensive law on witness protection program. But Amritanshu, I want to tell you about one of the movies which I saw many years ago, maybe 15 years ago, Buddy Buddy. That was a trial of the head of the narcotic syndicate in the United States, and the prime witness who was witness to their operations. His name was kept secret throughout. And towards the end of the movie, when he is to go to the court for deposing, the witness is made to put on at the last minute the uniform of the constable, and the constable is made to wear the clothes of the witness.
Okay.
And they show that when they are actually being taken to the court, there were only about 10 steps where he was going to be exposed. From the vehicle he comes out, and then he is to enter the building. There are only 10 feet of area where he was exposed. And from the adjoining building, with a telescopic gun, they fire at the witness, and fortunately
Get the cop.
they get the cop.
They get.
No, but that's the extent to which you need to go if you have to dispense justice. No effort needs to be spared for bringing the guilty to book.
Prosecution agencies are still struggling to create a case, leave alone protect the witness. Do you think it's possible?
It might appear to you to be hypothetical to give an answer, but I can certainly say we are capable of doing, which is that field where we have not shown our feats and our excellence, be it abroad, be it in the country. Look to any science, atomics, look to engineering, look to medical. Why can't we do this?
Is
But
the CVC, just
unfortunately,
butting in, sir, is the CVC capable of handling or being able to handle the responsible role of the nodal agency and protecting the whistleblower?
No, my biggest objection against this bill is that there is no method of ensuring secrecy of the name of the whistleblower. And unless you can, how do you maintain secrecy for the rest of his life? It's not only secrecy for till the time you depose. You have to give him the assurance that you will be able to live. And you will be able to live the same kind of a lifestyle. Maybe from Punjab you will be relocated to Assam.
I get it. Is there a section which gives a condition under which CVC will eventually be able to reveal the identity?
Yes, the CVC is supposed to be has been given the right to disclose the identity to the head of the organization. And the head of the organization then, whichever is the head of the organization will also disclose it to the CBI at the time when they secure the assistance of the CBI for the purpose of his protection.
The other day, Mr. Ram Jethmalani, while arguing the matter, he exposed the sitting judge of the Supreme Court that soon after retirement, having taken a decision of referring the investigation to the CBI, had to tell it to the judges in the Supreme Court, look, that man has been given it by way of a reciprocity. The instances are galore, not only about the CVC member, which created a ruckus, and everybody wanted, when the exposure took place, everybody wanted to wash off the hands. No, I didn't know. This was not pointed out. How is this?
It's time for us to head into a break. When we come back, we'll show you some of the critical points made by senior advocate K.N. Bhatt. Welcome back. According to senior advocate K.N. Bhatt, the whistleblower bill may not be able to achieve the goal it seeks out to achieve. My colleague Aruna Thakur spoke to him and got an opinion.
Do you think that it will give real protection to the whistleblowers?
First of all, this has got no use. Conceptually it is wrong. In any given law, generally, particularly, whistleblower, even today, according to me, somebody, if he goes and tells to the police station that, look, I have given some information, my life is in danger, they are supposed to protect them. And in such cases, if the police officers neglect that one, take a strong action against the department, you amend the Criminal Procedure Code, that will do a tremendous amount of good, rather than all this circuitous way of telling that if this is the position, you will get a protection, etc., etc. Conceptually, this act is bad.
So, can't we say that something is better than nothing? Because earlier there is as such no law which protects the whistleblowers, and can't we take it as an initiative by the government for protecting the whistleblowers?
Well, I don't know the cost of this particular bill becoming an act from 2010 onwards at least. Even prior to that, it was very much on the being talked about. I don't know whether it is commensurate with the benefit it is going to give, whatever the time it has taken, the public time and money. I'm not too sure.
You heard it. Seems to be one singular feeling among the lawyer fraternity, legal fraternity, that this bill is more or less hollow and doesn't serve the purpose. Before I come to you, Mr. Sood, I'll ask Mr. Tulsi, is there a way to correct this?
Well, there is a way to correct. I think that if at all you need a special provision for whistleblowers in corruption cases, then why can't this be a part of the Lokpal bill? Why do we have a separate bill for protection of whistleblowers which relates only to corruption cases, and that also outside the ambit of the Prevention of Corruption Act, outside the ambit of the Lokpal bill, outside the CVC outside the CBI. Why do we have separate statutes all the while? And if at all there has to be a separate statute for witness protection, then it should cover a whole lot of witnesses. And you know, I was a prosecutor in Punjab. I was prosecuting terrorists, and there was a case where the son was killed in front of his father, and the father was a witness. And I met him before he was to depose. I said, I hope you know the identify. And I said, look, he says, of course I know him from childhood. I said, but I hope you are going to identify. And suddenly, first he was laughing and then he started crying. There were tears trickling down. I said, why are you worried? We have not even written your name in the records. It will not be part of the judgment. And then he laughed at me. He says, he knows me from the day he was 3 years old. He is from the adjoining village.
Did he manage to identify the...
No question.
What was the reason?
The reason was that the threats that were being administered, whether we write his name in the record or not, that's the only provision in the CRPC, that we can conceal the name, identity of the witness. But what use is that concealment unless you assure him a lifetime of anonymity?
I get the point. Mr. Sood, to you, the whistleblower vis-a-vis a witness, what is the difference?
Whistleblower and?
The witness.
Oh, they're more or less in the same category, except, as I said in the earlier part of the debate, that a witness does have some interest while a whistleblower doesn't have that interest. He would be coming from the victim's family, related or in any other manner, being, you know, attached to the family, attached to the victim, having seen it.
Well, whistleblower can also be a victim.
No, it has to be. But what I am saying, whistleblower need not be a person concerned with the result. He is activated, he is motivated by a spirit to expose something which is making the society a sick, a bad spot. And in the department where he notices something, he wants
what
to...
Mr. Sood, the parameters that Mr. Sood is pointing out.
Yes, further narrows down.
Does it in any way help the whistleblower to reduce corruption in society?
Not unless it is comprehensive, unless you can ensure, give him a lifetime of security. It's no use giving your lip sympathy by saying that there is a whistleblower bill and we will give you protection. What kind of protection are we giving to our witnesses?
Do you think the state can afford, Mr. Sood, to you, do you think the state can afford witness protection program? At what cost? Can the state afford this state at which we are right now?
Well, it can afford, I will tell you, a historical judicial fact borne by record. In case of the murder of Katara, the mother of the boy, Neelam filed a petition under Article 226 in Delhi High Court.
Right.
At that moment, I was Additional Solicitor General.
Right.
Well, whatever was the quality of drafting and everything
the cost,
apart.
Sir.
No, apart. But fact remains, she had raised the issue of witness protection and absence of law on that point. Looking to the sensitivity of the question raised, the counsel on behalf of the Union of India was a panel lawyer who was appearing.
So can the state afford the protection of witness?
Just a minute, witness protection. The court said it is very, very serious matter. Either call the Attorney General or request a law officer of the Union of India to come and give response to us. Then I was told about this, went to the court, having read the whole petition and the propensity of the victim's concern, only son was murdered.
So what was the
Listen,
cost of the
I
witness?
got a response from the son. No, this is very important. You will
I
kindly
can say
forgive
even
me.
if it costs 1,000 crores,
You will kindly
it must
excuse
be
me.
given.
So,
Cause of justice is dearer.
May I complete?
yes, sir.
Now, the response of the government was asking a deputy secretary to file an affidavit. Well, the matter is under consideration. This happened way back in 1991. Till today, having said on record on the basis of an affidavit filed by the central government that yes, it is under consideration. How many years it has taken to give this a skeleton?
91 or 2001 however.
Oh, sorry, 2001.
Right.
Skeleton. This is that. This shows the real intentions. So, as such, I am compelled to use the word populism. It is only a face-saving device and is deflecting the real intentions and the issues instead of, taking things by and by outside the
Also,
the
question is armed forces being kept out, Council of Ministers, intelligence agency, judiciary, all of them being kept out. Okay, an argument can be given that the government will probably include them in the Lokpal bill. That is an argument that can be given. So they want to keep it away from whistleblower.
Already judiciary is out of the Lokpal bill.
Right.
So that means judiciary doesn't need any whistleblowers.
Thank you, sir, for joining us in the studio for this discussion. It is time for us to end the show. You can email your suggestion and comments to law.rstv@gmail.com. We will be back with a new issue and a new episode. Keep watching Rajya Sabha TV.